days.
Skipping toilet. W race.
How are we skipping today?
Toom, Sazua. Tra-la-little, Bum-bum-pini,
How can I hold all these memes?
Ballerina Capucina. Beer Catapin.
Okay.
Forsen
Thank you for that segment. We good? We're chilling. It's Thursday morning. Sun is shining. Tung tung. Tung tung. Pretty good. Pretty nugget. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice, Chad. Very nice. Very good. Sorry, I'm a little bit late to the party. Because a party it is. Everyone dancing in chat. Pretty girls everywhere, right? Hey guys, if you're a girl. We're back in black for another episode of the God Gamer Show. I lost my Sony earbuds and now I have nothing. That's what you get. I haven't ever owned a pair of AirPods or similar shit. I am way too cool for that shit. Way too cool for that shit, man. Let's see here. We got some Sabaronis, we got some re-Sabaronis, yeah? Samhain, thank you, man. Just right off the get-go, a 7-year.
In this world is the destiny of men shaped by forces beyond our ken.
By force.
Transcendental beings who fell to earth eons ago and taught our ancestors to build wonders they could scarce comprehend.
I don't know. That's a whole new question. It took us literally 2 years to ponder the previous one. You gotta give us some time, man. You gotta give us some time here. MC, thank you, man. DSX420, Renbot OW, 10 Fania and Sergeant Eric, Swift Apple, 121 months. Thank you very much. Thanks you, Moscow, and Sal HS 304 months. Can I get a cringe fist for my birthday, Dad? Please, for his birthday, man. Of course. Thank you. Happy birthday. Phil's birthday, man's in the chat. Will you play Uma Muzoom? I will not play Uma Muzoom, alright? So stop fucking asking. Motherfuckers. Motherfucker. Alright. I'm done with your shit. Done with your fucking shit. The first picture of a sperm whale having sex have been taken, but they were both males. Why are you gay? Who says I'm gay? You are gay. You are transgender. Anything cool, fresh, new, exciting happening in the world today? Thursday, new TFT cinematic tomorrow. Wow, can't wait for a TFT cinematic. Trump treats tax Brazil in 50%. I guess now we have to go to Brazil if we want to buy anything. What do they even give us? Bananas and cocaine. What is the main export from Brazil? Coffee, maybe? Not sure. Coffee? Sounds about right. New Subnautica 2 video gameplay. You can finally play with stream savers. Fucking stream savers of my Subnautica playthrough? You fucking kidding me? We're going for that permadeath, are we not? What's Sweden's main export? I think it's wood. Paper. But I'm not sure. Iron and wood. Yeah. Would if I could. Are you gonna watch the Superman movie? Yes, when it comes out on my streaming services, I will watch that shit. Who even goes to the fucking cinema anymore, man? Who even goes to cinema? The only time I would go to the cinema is to watch the new Minecraft movie. Chicken jockey! KS23, another son of TK Relaxo, the sushi fish, El Chiapa, 4 years in a row. Hey Forsen, greetings from Brazil. I really hope that you get 12 wins today. I believe in you. And thanks for the tier 3 sub IRL stream. It was great, Forsen Jedi. Wasn't it? It was, right? I like to think so. I'm glad you appreciate it. I wasn't sure since it's been so long since I did the IRL, but you guys had your vote as per usual, and I have to obey my tier 3 subs, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. Nothing else though? Nothing else cool? No? No? Newsworthy? Slow day? Slow day today? I go to cinema to enjoy it with my girlfriend. This guy forgot to take his pill. Alright. Let's see. Links, I thinks. Alright, we got first link of the day. I'm sure it's gonna be great.
The newly appointed president
Pause the
called
music.
his fellow party members to a meeting in a local theatre hall in Baghdad.
Bro, what are you doing,
His
man?
name is Saddam Hussein.
Like,
He's only been
not
recently
only
elected
do you link this shit that we've already watched, and I already said twice when someone, I'm assuming you, because there isn't enough retards to post this exact video,
The hall is hot, blistering.
that we've already seen it, and I
Saddam
skip
takes the
it,
stage.
right?
He takes his time.
You even donated this shit 1 hour ago. Alright, I haven't even started my stream yet. 1 hour ago you donated this motherfucking video.
A terrible plot against the president and against
It's a
Iran.
terrible plot against me. What are you trying to do here, man? Alright, we've seen it. Okay? Stop. It's enough. Jesus Christ.
Hello everybody and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today I'm going to be teaching you how to make Henry's authentic Hawaiian Loco Moco. Loco Moco was invented by Nancy Inoue in 1949 when she was tasked with the burden of feeding a throng of hungry teenagers after the big game. According to George Takahashi, let's get started. Let's start by pouring 1 cup rice into a bowl. Now we want to rinse it. The method I use is I just fill up the bowl with water and then I pour it out. You know, white rice is basically the same as brown rice. They just shave off all the fiber and the nutrients so that you get more calories per meal. Repeat this about 30 times. Put our rice in a pot with 1 cup boiling water for about 15 minutes. Meanwhile, we can prep our meat. So I'll be using a plant-based meat product for this recipe to keep it gluten-free.
What?
Add some of our Worcestershire sauce to taste. And now we'll just flatten it out into patty form. This particular meat product is made out of mung beans, which are high in iron. In fact, in China, mung beans are used to feed their livestock, which is why Chinese pigs have such strong forearms.
Curb stomp all non-cancer
We'll cook this for
linkers.
10 minutes,
Curb
flipping it
stomp
halfway
all
through.
non-cancer
Let's check on our
linkers.
rice.
Curb stomp all non-cancer linkers. Curb stomp all
Definitely nice
non-cancer
and crisp.
linkers. Curb stomp all
We'll set this
non-cancer
aside.
linkers. Curb stomp all
Time
non-cancer
to flip over our
linkers.
burger.
D.
Let's let this cook another 5 minutes on the other side. Meanwhile, we can make our mushroom gravy. I'm gonna start by putting chicken broth into a measuring cup. Add in some chopped mushrooms. And 1 tablespoon flour. And we'll stir it up. Okay, our burger looks pretty much done. We'll just put this on a little plate. Make sure you're setting a timer when you're cooking all this stuff, because it's easy to get distracted. There's an old saying in Hawaii, time flies when you're making locomoco. Okay, now it's time to cook the eggs. But first, just a quick announcement for some that have been asking. The Henry's Kitchen store is now fully stocked for the holidays, so if you want to pick up a signed apron or cookbooks, you can check out the link below. Let's cook our eggs. I'll be doing this sunny side up, which is the most difficult way to cook eggs. You have to be really careful that the yolk stays intact. And then you want to very delicately lift the eggs off the pot, starting at the corners. Let's let our ingredients cool down a little bit before we plate our ingredients onto a plate. Meantime, it's been about 3 years since our entire world was on severe lockdown as a result of COVID-19. I thought it'd be fun to take a little trip down memory lane and look at some of the things we did back in those days.
I survived.
Have you ever seen a couple and wondered how the hell the guy pulled her? This phenomenon happens in nature, and it's been deemed the oofy doofy theory. That's oofy, and he's proof that personality can matter to an extent, somewhat, in the long run at least. So if you're hopeless, this should give you life fuel. Throughout this video, I'm going to be using Selena Gomez and her relationship with Benny Blanco. This in no way reflects their relationship, I'm just using them to explain this theory. Anyways, that's Oofy, as I've mentioned. You can see him in his natural state, and if you haven't noticed, he's somewhat chopped. He probably doesn't take care of himself. He maybe believes in the blue pill. He has good personality. He's a cute, funny guy. And when I say cute, I don't mean by the way he looks. His personality is cute, right? He's all flamboyant. Anyways, these are the 4 stages, rather the life cycle of this theory, in which Oofy is a subject, Chad is involved, and so is the girl. We're just gonna call her Stacy. In the first stage, we're gonna call it Chad or nothing. We have Chad with his arm around Stacy. Hypergamy is in effect, and as you can see here, he's thinking of other women that he can pull. Meanwhile, Oofy's in the corner thinking of her. She's in her prime, right? She's in her peak. We're gonna call it peak. Because she's in her peak, she's going to have a great preference for that 1% of men. As you can see here, he's that 1%. So he's thinking of her, he's thinking of other girls, and she's thinking of Chad. The next stage is Chad ghosting. When Chad ghosts her, and he's saying bye-bye, her heart's broken, there's going to be some damage, sometimes permanent damage, usually permanent damage. So there's trauma and lost time. With due time, responsibilities start to kick in, the need to settle down. The whole relationship has to get serious, and when Chad sees seriousness and a plethora of options, he's going to scatter, usually. Now, it's not sunshine and rainbows for Chad. He has two options, and it's depending on his IQ. If it's high IQ, he's still winning. If it's low IQ, he's suffering. For whatever reason, it didn't work out in that, right? His looks fell off, something went wrong, he got played. Now, it really depends on her emotional standpoint. It could take multiple heartbreaks before she realizes her worth. And from then, she's gonna shift to the next stage, which is Plan Z. When Plan Z initiates, she's suddenly open to settling, and she's gonna be a bit more neutral about things, especially when it comes to guys that she wouldn't be deeming them attractive from the jump. As you can see here in this clip.
I didn't see anything romantic nor really felt that.
A blank stare. Because he's not her true preference. He's not her true preference. Now what Stacy's going to do is prioritize her safety over her sexual preference. Now Ufi can compensate with money and status. But status and money, they're just made up things, right, by men. So naturally speaking, there's not going to be any chemistry there initially. And you can see that here.
And then how it kind of continued was I was always cautious because I always wanted to make sure that I did protect myself. So to be honest, I didn't talk to him very often.
I thought she hated.
Is that her voice? I never heard her, I think.
Really?
He's sweet.
What?
He's funny. And he's, more importantly, safe. And finally, we're at the last stage where Ufi wins by default. And I say this because he's not the first choice. He's in fact the last choice. But to be fair, he was chosen. A lot of guys don't end up being chosen, so it's a good thing on his part. Ufi didn't win the game. He bagged Stacy because he waited for all the players to leave the game. You understand? So yeah, people are gonna argue that he's the prize. That's because all the other prizes caused damage, emotional damage.
I'm in a better place.
It was a team effort, right? Him and the Chads. He needed some DPS, right, on his team. And then he needed some tanking. And then the healing, you know what I mean? It's a five-man heroic to score this chick. Unfortunately, everyone else had loot prio. "17 years ago? What the hell?" Hog 2 was 17 years ago? Damn, time flies. Okay, that was a video. Jesus Christ. Finally,
throughout the world,
some history.
there are ancient traditions that identify the center of the head as being synonymous with the center of the earth, the center of the universe, and the very center of creation itself. This center is often depicted as egg-shaped and is identified in some cultures as the third eye.
There are multiple cultures that point us in the same direction. The Hindus have it as the third eye, or the bindi. The Buddhists have the third eye on Buddha's forehead. We see symbology in Mesoamerica, which seems to symbolize the ability to contact and communicate with the higher spiritual realms using this secret symbol that is consistent throughout all the major world religions.
When you talk about the third eye,
It's about enlightenment. It's about this connection to the great unknown or the force of the universe. We think that we are separated from the world, when in reality, we are all connected to every single object in the universe. And that inherently means that we are directly connected to every extraterrestrial being throughout the entire universe.
Is it possible that the cosmic egg
You're not connected to
isn't
nature.
only a symbol for the universe
I'm
or
above
how the universe
gods.
was formed, but represents a connection that exists within each and every human to the cosmos, and possibly to extraterrestrial beings that came to Earth in the distant past? Ancient astronaut theorists point out that while the third eye has historically been considered a metaphor, there is an egg-shaped structure within the brain that is critical in defining what it means to be human: the thalamus. Shaped like two identical eggs, the thalamus lies at the center of the brain and is the hub responsible for relaying information from most of the sensory receptors. Scientists studying the effects of thalamic stimulation on comatose patients have recently suggested the thalamus might be the most important factor in human consciousness.
The thalamus is like a relay station in the brain. So you have all the primary sensory information coming in, like information coming in your eyes, through your retina, and through your ears, and all these sensations. The first place they go after the primary sense organs is they get funneled to the thalamus. And then the thalamus sorts out this information and relays it to the various parts in the cortex that process that primary sensory information. If the thalamus is damaged, usually it will knock out consciousness. It's a very critical point where all the information comes to, and then it's distributed in the cortex.
The thalamus is called the lamp, the open eye, even the third eye. And when you look at this, you wonder, was it in fact a gift from extraterrestrial beings that awakened us, that enabled us to become connected to the divine or extraterrestrial realm? Perhaps the extraterrestrials that had a hand in fashioning the human body and tweaking the human brain placed the thalamus there in its egg shape as a connecting link to
I have
the
one of
greater
these,
civilization out of
increases
which we originally
it by
emerged.
100,000%.
Could the thalamus be the physical representation of what ancient cultures referred to as the third eye? And if so, might this brain structure act as a connection to greater forces in the universe? As incredible as this notion may seem, ancient astronaut theorists suggest that the thalamus can also be found represented in one of the most prominent symbols of ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus.
The Eye of Horus, also known as the Eye of Ra, was a symbol of protection, royal power,
Ancient
and
law,
good
classic
health.
law,
But it
Neolithic
was
law,
also known
postmodern
as the
law,
Eye of
Neolithic
Providence,
law,
the all-seeing
futuristic
Eye of
law,
God.
Sisyphean law,
Now, what is incredible
romantic
is
law,
if you look at the
medieval
thalamus,
law,
and all
mods,
the
no more
structures
links.
surrounding that,
No more links.
it looks like the Eye of Horus. The similarity.
Better the Eye of Horus than the Eye of Horses.
Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay. If you have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, I think you said, why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. Thought
You're
something
a
was
man
wrong
of
with me.
self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and
It's just not-
direct
it's
it
just-
the way
it's
you
just
want to
not how
direct
I
it.
am. It's not how I am. I've
You think that
tried.
might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
Okay.
I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this good.
He got fucked up.
You're gonna be amazed amazed at how much better you feel, how much more confident. 6 things that you need to pay attention to in order to obtain alpha enlightenment. Number 1 is spiritual. In my opinion, to truly reach alpha status, you need to be spiritual. Now, whatever that means to you...
No, 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 no.
Intense sex.
Get the fuck out of my territory.
Okay. No real human plays this shit, right? It's just AI versus AI. Yeah, no one fucking plays this. What? This is CPU versus CPU, man. Ooh ha! Ooh ha! Bro, this channel is banned, alright? It's fucking Dr. Les Carter, narcissism shit, alright? It's banned. Fucking.
This chart is going to help you understand how you compare to other guys. By plotting your face and your height, you can see what tier you sit at, being that either a normie, high tier normie, Chad Light or Chad? You're probably wondering, what's the point of this? It seems so redundant, why would you compare yourself to other people? But by doing this, you're going to get a better understanding of how desirable you are in this market. If you want to quickly get down to your facial rating or where you kind of sit at, look at this photo and try to be unbiased, see where you fit in, and choose a number and stick to that. Once you've got your number, you can then plot yourself on here. So for instance, if you're 5'9", which is the cutoff right here, being that of manhood height, and you have a 5 out of 10 face card, you're going to be considered a normie. Whereas if you're 5'9" and you have a 6 out of 10 face card, you're then a high tier normie, and so forth. The difference between each tier is a deviation of just 1 unit. It's just a followed pattern, and it makes a lot of sense if you just look here. Anything below this tier, the normie tier, is going to be considered over, right? In reality, you're just going to be far less desired. If you haven't noticed, everything goes downhill from 5'8" and below. So to be considered a normie now, you require a 6 out of 10 face at 5'8", and then at 5'6", a 7 out of 10 face. And at 5'4", you'd have to have a 9 out of 10 face just to be a normie. Not a high tier normie, not a Chad, just a normie. Another trend and pattern we see is heights 6'2" to 6'4". They're practically equivalent. The difference between the heights of 6'2" and 6'4" is practically non-existent in regards to desirability. You can see that the same face card gets you the same tier. Right here and here. At 5'10" and 5'11", your height is practically negligible. It's invisible, no one thinks twice about it. It's just your face card that actually plays the biggest role in your SMV. In case you don't know what SMV is, it's sexual market value, and it's comprised mainly of your face and your height. For example, in the case of Lacey and Marlon, Lacey would have to gain 2 inches going from 5'6" to 5'8", and if we plot that, he would need a 9 out of 10 face card to be considered Chad. Having a 9 out of 10 face card alone is practically impossible. And if we just look at where Marlon sits, we plot him from 6'5" all the way up with a face card of 7, it's probably even higher. By looking at this chart and comparing Lacey with Marlon, he gets mogged. As I mentioned, each 1 unit
Fucking
is
who?
This is a mog.
Forsen's nemesis Peppy laugh, neck vein
At
incoming.
6 foot. You can see a divot there.
No further links.
At 5'11", you just need a 5 out of 10 face to be considered a normie, whereas at 6 foot, you can have a huge phthalo in your face, be a 4 out of 5 on the scale of 10, and still be a normie. So that's a cool bonus that kicks in right here. There's an interesting thing that happens when you reach the height of 6'2". Your height taps out. It's no longer gonna improve things for you if you get taller. Actually, until the height...
Wait. 6'3" is only 190.5? Then I'm taller than 6'3".
Get taller. Actually, till the height of 6'4", things start to go south. As you can see that 6'5" to 6'7", the face card requirements...
So basically, I would have to be a 6.5 face value to be a Chad.
That's because of 2 things. You're going to be a whole lot more intimidating and proportions can get whack. Also, the height difference can cause issues if the girl's a whole lot more shorter, etc. It's only a slight deviation that occurs. You can see it only decreases by a little bit. You can see how a 6'7" guy who's a normie, would be plotted right here, would be equivalent to that of a 6 foot.
I guess it's just math.
I
guess it's just math.
Statistically speaking, that's the sweet spot. Heights.
Shut the hell up, man.
Today you are going to die. But there are good deaths and there are bad deaths. Tell me what I need to know. I'll see that your death is a good one. Who put you up to this? One last chance. Who?
was Alvarez. Los Ojos out of Peru. They paid me to set up your nephew. And I did.
Alvarez we know. Los Odios we know. Was anyone else involved?
Him? You think the chicken man? What a joke. Alvarez has been paying me for years. Years, but you know what? I would have done it for free because I hate every last one of you psycho sacks of shit. I opened Lalo's gate, and I would do it again, and I'm glad what they did to him. He's a soulless pig, and I wish I killed him with my own hands. And you know what else, Hector? I put you in that chair. Oh yeah, your heart meds. I switched them for sugar pills. You were dead and buried, and I had to watch this asshole bring you back. So when you are sitting in your shitty nursing home and you're sucking down on your Jell-O night after night for the rest of your life, you think of me. You twisted fuck.
Es suyo.
Step 1. Acquire a demon core. Step 2.
You say there are 7 signs of narcissism, and you're also going to tell us how to spot them. Let's just go through them one by one.
Yeah.
What's the first one?
So the first one's lack of empathy.
Okay.
And that's a defining characteristic. That's a defining characteristic of narcissism. In fact, if I see that somebody has really well-preserved empathy, I'm like, nah, not even happening. So that to me almost is the requirement. It's the bedrock of this pattern. The second is entitlement. Entitlement is that sense that somehow someone should deserve special treatment, even if it's to the detriment of other people, that somehow they are different than everyone else. Again, sort of special by dint of their existence.
Yeah.
The third is grandiosity. It's sort of an unrealistic assessment of one's capacity or abilities, or they talk about a grandiose world that they don't even live in, the things that they may someday do. You know, someday I'm going to climb Mount Everest. So they talk about it as though it's something they're actively doing or have already done. So it is, again, a very unrealistic, almost fantasy-like version of the world. They'll often talk about having one day the greatest love affair or the greatest love story or the greatest wedding or the greatest career. Everything is just bigger and larger than life. Number 4 is superficiality. There's a very vapid quality to narcissism. They're really only concerned about appearances, how a person looks, what a person owns, where they live, what they drive, what they carry, the shoes on their feet.
Chad?
It's very, very superficial, to the detriment of other
4 out
characteristics.
of 4.
Somebody out there might say, oh, but I love
I'm the
fashion.
least superficial
But they're a
guy
very
here,
sweet, kind
alright?
person. That's not what we're talking about.
You
We're
guys
talking about
with your
superficiality
fucking,
with absolutely no
brand
depth behind it. We're
sneakers,
judging people solely on
fucking skin
superficial
routines. Shut the hell up,
characteristics
man.
and equality.
You fucking
Number 5
cucks.
is chronic seeking.
Probably
of
get a
admiration
haircut
or
more than
validation.
once a fucking 2
It's
years,
the
right?
constant need to be receiving praise,
Bitch-ass motherfuckers.
recognition, and nowadays that's really amped up because of social media. That they have to get likes and they have to get lots of traction on their social media page, and they need lots of followers and all of that. So it's that constant need, but it never stops. If you're even close to them, like you're their child or you're their partner, you have to constantly be telling them how wonderful they are and how great they are, and way beyond the thing that they've done. It's almost a nuisance to get a gift from a narcissist because you have to thank them for it so many times. It would have been easier to buy it yourself. Number 6 is their tendency to rage. They don't have good command of their emotions. They tend to be all over the map, and the one emotion they tend to manifest the most often is uncontrolled rage. That's often because they're so frustrated and they're so insecure, and they don't have good ways of dealing with their feelings. So it's not unusual for them to just come out when things don't go their way. They don't have any tolerance for frustration, so you'll see a lot of rage that comes out. And number 7, I'd really say, is arrogance. It's I'm better than you. And in some ways that sort of draws from the grandiosity, it draws from the entitlement, but it can come off as a snobbery, as a dismissiveness, as a devaluation.
I devalued everything you said.
That reminds me of another concept, Dr. Carter, that I'd love for you to respond to. And the concept is emotional laziness. Emotional laziness. So I'm very aware, this isn't to trumpet any of my efforts, but it takes work. I mean, I have to think about, not I have to, I want to, and I have to think about Christy. Okay, that's right, she's with her ailing father. True story, by the way. She's with her ailing father today, and I know that's difficult for her. But anyway, this takes work. Quite honestly, this could get me in trouble. I'd rather sit and talk to Dr. Carter than to think about and to do the work of incorporating her into my life and things. So okay, that was a long-winded question. Do you find these emotionally immature men to also be emotionally lazy? Okay. Not doing okay, take it away. Don't hurt me, okay? I mean...
no, you and I were tracking, man.
Okay.
I have what I refer to as 5 levels of relationship engagement. Okay? And level 1 is functional.
Okay.
And, would you pass the salt, or we need to be at this place at 7 o'clock, we're just going to stay functional with each other. Level 2 is we appeal to rules and regulations. We need to make sure that we are polite when we say something, or that we are punctual, and these are what the rules are. These are the parameters, and it's kind of like that grade school kid. You have to stand in line before we go to the cafeteria. That kind of thing. Level 3 is when you engage with each other based upon your values and principles. And that begins actually when you start going into your adolescent years, and your abstract thinking begins to kick in.
Is he going to answer the question, or just talk randomly about things that are not related?
Good communication starts with respect and honor. That would be your values and your principles. And when you get to level 3, that's when you start getting deeper into a fuller, more adult style of thinking. Then level 4 is the empathy. And the empathy is when you have your values and you have your principles, but then you're also aware, but so does the other person. And so because narcissists tend not to get out of themselves, because it's all about me by definition, they tend not to go deep into that empathy. And so they don't ask those penetrating questions, or they don't
penetrate your mom. Alright, we're done with your fucking absolute garbage tier shenanigans now. Fucking linkers. We're done, so alright, we got a 3-0er waiting that is about to go 12-0. Probably the best deck I've made, potentially. It's a masterpiece of master class.
Blaze a new trail through the jungles of Angoro.
Angoro? Is that how you pronounce it? Angoro? Angoro. Alright, this is insane. Alright, we're gonna tear this asshole right up. What the fuck was that dinosaur? Don't touch me. Cease thank you for 70 months. We got Trooper Guy with the 6 years. My favorite, most handsome and talented streamer. What an honor, Forsen routine, of course. His words, not mine, not been altered. Original, as we say in Espanol. Thank you very much, man, during the badge play. Next, 3, welcome back. Felt with the 4 years. And almost divorced. Today's cup of Kathy's birthday. And you are her favorite streamer. Could you wish happy birthday to Kathy?